I think these guys mostly do the regular gallons or the 5 gallon pail. You know, you can get stripper in larger quantities if you guys are doing bigger jobs, but usually 5 gallon is plenty. So any questions on stripper, right? It's got a super high pH. So that number is at the top of the scale. If 7 is right in the middle and neutral, anything below 7 is towards acid, anything above 7 is towards alkaline. 14 is the gas, right? This stuff is hot.
Expressive.
Yeah, and then down really low with the toilet bowl cleaners that have acid, you know, they're down 1 and below 1, really hot the other way. So you definitely want to like use gloves. It doesn't feel good. It'll sting when you mix your stripper. But we're gonna do it 1 to 4. We're gonna do it in a smaller batch, so we won't use quite as much of it. But essentially, this is a heavy-duty unlocking chemical for the wax that's hardened on the floor already, the finish that's already hardened. Once we put it down, it starts to chemically make it bubble, turn it to a liquid. We'll run the machine on it, and then we'll suck it all up, clean the floor, let it dry, and apply finish. Stripping is all or nothing though. We'll talk about deep scrub, which is a less invasive process that you can use. But stripping, once you clean out the floor and you go, oh man, we missed here, we missed there, you gotta get it off. Because anything that's left down, once you put your first coat, it's gonna shine through, it's gonna show through on every coat. And also, you know, when you're laying your coats, we'll show you how to overlap, because if you miss a little swipe mark, it'll never go away, no matter how many coats you put on. It'll always look a little less in that little swipe mark. So that's stripping. The other process, which is the third page on here, is called deep scrub, or some people call it top scrub. This is where, let's say you've got a floor that you put finish on in January, and now here you are in at the end of summer or fall, and they want it to shine again, but they don't necessarily need it all stripped off. They've had wear and tear, foot traffic. What you can do to extend the life of that floor, instead of going all in on stripping, is using like a heavy duty cleaner, not quite as aggressive as a stripper, to deep scrub or top scrub that top layer, get it kind of clean and microscopically kind of scuffed up. And once it's scuffed up, you can grab on with another coat or two of finish after. It is about a 10 or 11 pH, so it's much more mild than a stripper. And you don't need a black pad. You can use something like a green pad or a blue pad, a little lower down the color level. It'll give you a real good clean, and almost like if you had woodwork that had like an original finish on it, but you wanted to paint it and update your baseboards. All you gotta do is kind of sand it a little bit, dust it off, and then you can get your primer to grab on there or your paint to grab on there. That's what you're doing with the deep scrub. So, for example, like a school might only strip every 3rd year, because they'll top scrub, strip, right? Eventually you do want to strip the floor, because if you keep top scrubbing and adding, nobody walks up against the walls, right? So you're top scrubbing the whole floor, adding finish on the whole floor, but everybody walks in the middle. Eventually you're gonna have buildup on the edges that when you do strip, hopefully, and I can show you guys a video later, but hopefully it doesn't require snow shovels and things that I've seen out there in the field before, where you have, 30 some odd coats on the floor because the person didn't know they had to strip. You only want to go 2 to 3 years would be a good life cycle of the floor. Now, if the client says, I want it stripped every Christmas, you strip it every Christmas, right? You do what they want, right? But you can offer, as an interim, a top scrub halfway through the year, where you can bring back the life of the floor by deeply scrubbing it, putting 2 more coats down, and it's like night and day the amount of time and effort that it takes to top scrub versus strip. You know what I mean? Luckily in this room here, it doesn't look like there's much